Hi, it's Kiffin Labates here. Gareth Marlowe commented on a post by Adriana Chalmers where she asked for definitions of commonly used buzzwords in association with technology that investors should really understand in order to be able to determine whether a startup pitch makes sense or is just total nonsense. So I thought it would be amusing to, off the top of my head, try and define all these things that she mentioned and try and remember them as I go along. So let's get going. So first one, big data. Big data is techniques and methods for handling large quantities of computer data that are so large that conventional software and conventional computer hardware finds it difficult or impossible to deal with them. So this is about stuff like older file systems can only support 4 gigabyte files, and databases, if there's too much data in there, could take hours or days in order to run a database query. That's big data. Next one, AI. So AI is about computer programs that perform tasks that we previously thought could only be performed by human beings or maybe animals. So it's typically used in pattern recognition, where you have a lot of extraneous data that you want to filter out in order to decide whether something is in a picture or whether one word or another word has been spoken. Then machine learning. So machine learning is a subset of AI where the computer program actually alters itself as it interprets more data and gets feedback on how well it's previously done. So that's where the learning part comes in. Deep learning. So deep learning is a subset of machine learning where you have multiple layers, and data that is processed in one layer is handed on to the next, and so on. So it allows you sort of chain data interpretation together in order to establish causal links between the initial data input and coming to a conclusion at the end. Algorithms. So algorithms are basically computer functions or short sections of a computer program that crunch data and then come to a conclusion as to what that data signifies. I think that's the AI section. What was the next thing? IoT. IoT is about devices connected to the internet, but we normally mean devices that aren't laptops or desktop computers or servers. So typically we're talking about low power, low cost devices. Often they have sensors on them, so they can take readings from their environment, and maybe actuators so that they can actually trigger some action, like a thermostat or opening a valve in a factory or something like that. But the key thing is that they're connected to the internet or a network, so that the data that they produce can be stored or reported, analyzed and acted on, typically by sending a command back to the IoT device. But the main thing is that they're meant to be very, very cheap. I think that's the key feature of them, really. Funny that it took me a while to think of this one. Blockchains. So actually, maybe best to talk about distributed ledgers first. A distributed ledger is a form of tamper-proof database that is not controlled by one central authority, i.e. it's distributed, and a number of different parties control the data that goes onto it and can retrieve data from it. And a subset of distributed ledger technology is blockchains. So blockchains are distributed ledgers in which there are incentives in order to maintain the integrity of the tamper-proof database, and the data is added in blocks, i.e. not continuously. So sort of discrete data addition. And how about we throw in smart contracts as well then. So smart contracts are little snippets of computer code that are stored on a blockchain or a distributed ledger, and they are run when certain data events happen on the blockchain, and take an action, i.e. maybe change some data or change the status of the database according to the conditions within that code. Maybe that one wasn't incredibly clear. Basically, they're little computer programs that can automate doing transactions on the blockchain database when some data changes. So they're a bit like triggers in databases. So let me see if I can think of a valid sentence for a startup that uses all of these technologies. Yes, okay, the blockchain that we were using to record data from our IoT electricity meters got so big that we started using big data techniques in order to extract subsets of the data for our AI machine learning algorithm to predict spikes in energy consumption. I think that would be a valid sentence using most of those terms. Whereas a company that said something like our blockchain on an IoT device is enabled through sophisticated proprietary machine learning algorithms using big data would be gibberish. Anyway, there you go. Ooh, 6 minutes, but we did rattle through a lot there. I hope you found that entertaining, and good luck with weeding out the good startups from the bad ones. Bye for now.